call the meeting to order. Any public comments? If not, we will adjourn to closed session. Looks like we're adjourning. 7:02, sorry I'm late. We're reconvening from closed session. We'll start with roll call. Student reps, welcome. We got first stringers this time, right? And then we have all board members present and accounted for. Nice to see you again, George. Dr. Washer, Mr. Young, Mr. Khan. Let's move into the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Nava, would you lead us?
You bet.
Thank you.
Salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a report from closed session. We're going to lead with the appointment of the interim elementary principal, Miss Melina Puente. We had a motion from Mr. Freitas, a second from Mr. Nava, and the board approved the appointment of Ms. Melina Puente as interim elementary principal at Julia Morgan, with the start date and end date to be determined later. Is that acceptable? Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, claim number 613283, Mr. Nava motion. I'm sorry, let me back up. Ms. Puente with a vote of 7-0 was approved. I don't know if I was clear on that. Legal conference claim 613283, Mr. Nava motion, Mr. Connect said second, and the board voted to reject the claim with a vote of 7-0. Placement of non-public school students new, Mr. Neely motioned, Mr. Heverly second, and the board approved the placement of non-public school student number 55 by a vote of 7-0. We have some recognitions this evening. You have two? The first one is regarding the California School Employee Association. Which board member has that? CSEA. Right.
School psychology week?
I do not have one.
Des.
Oh, you're doing it. Des, you're doing it. Oh, well, what do I know?
Good
Welcome.
evening, Dr. Washer, members of the board, Mr. Young, Desiree Wise with CSEA. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing us a time to recognize an individual in our district who is a supervisor or manager. We did put out a flyer and ask for nominations to all of our members to nominate their boss if they felt that they supported CSEA and were an exceptional boss. And we did have a couple of different nominations this year, and we would like to take this time to recognize Gabby Vasquez from the IMC if she would like to come up. And also Snow Drake, the one that nominated her, if you'd like to come up. I just wanted to say Gabby's been in our district, I think, for about 14 years. She did start out as a classified employee. She was an administrative secretary, I think, with the IMC before she was appointed the supervisor. And Snow, I don't know if you wanted to say anything or no, say why you nominated her. Based off of her letter, I think she nominated Gabby for Boss of the Year. I think through the course of the Chromebooks distribution and upkeep, Gabby's been able to provide an opportunity. She's provided a positive environment for her employees and got them on board, was something that was a big tackle, I think, for some. And I think everybody's happy with the add-on funds that they received, and Gabby was able to dish out some more FTE, and multiple of our librarians were servicing 2 sites. They're currently, I think, now at 1 site due to those additional FTEs, and I think also picked up some extra hours. So we just wanted to say thank you, Gabby.
Can I say a few words?
Absolutely.
Well, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for CSEA chapter's recognition for Boss of the Year. I was completely surprised by this honor, and very much appreciative of all the people who work with me, who work side by side and take on all of the new challenges that come in our changing environment. Card catalogs are a thing of the past. We're very tech in the library. If you ever go and check one out, please do, because amazing things are happening. We're getting a lot of revamping of library furniture in lots of our schools, and it's a dynamic, changing environment every day, learning something new and supporting students in that journey of knowledge and literacy. So I appreciate all of the support that Dr. Salih has given our department. Without his support, we wouldn't have those FTEs, and it's very beneficial to the school sites, having all of the librarians able to service all students 5 days a week instead of 1 or 2 days a week. So it's a fabulous, fabulous journey that we're on, and I can't wait to see the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the board?
Just congratulations, good job.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Knexted. Regarding Quincy Knowles, Athletic Director, Ronald McNair High School, introduction into the Stockton Hall of Fame, very shortly. Here he comes.
You're gonna have to get up now.
Thank you.
It's not gonna be that easy. Thank you. Okay, I do have a certificate for outstanding service that's being presented to Quincy Noble, who's the athletic director at Ronald McNair High School, and it's for the induction to the Stockton Athletic Hall of Fame. Anybody who gets this kind of an award has done more than one thing. So I'm going to let Quincy just give us a quick rundown of all the athletics that you've been involved with in addition to being athletic director.
I thought I was just going to walk out.
Yeah, I know you did.
I guess before I would even start, I would want to thank the board for recognizing me, but more importantly for your support of athletics in the recent years. The times that we've had recently with COVID and everything else that's going on, but benefits and life lessons you learn through athletics, and being involved in athletics is even more so than it has been even 50 years ago or when it first started. I don't know, it's just basically, it's probably a lifetime achievement thing. I've gone from coaching T-ball to college baseball to being an administrator in athletics. I think the one thing I'm probably the most proud of anything, is I was actually nominated by a McNair student. So I guess my thing is I feel like I'm more of a servant to our student population than anything, and that's what I would want to be remembered by more than any coaching that I've done.
Thank you, Quincy. Why don't you wait right there? Wait right there. Any board members?
Yeah, Quincy, we go way back in Maine. We don't know each other all that well, but I was chatting about this with a friend of mine, Rainey Snyder, who's your commissioner of the SJ2A, and he said he couldn't think of anybody more deserving, and I agree. You're a quality individual and a good role model, and I'm very happy for you. You deserve this. You deserve a lot more, too. You've done a lot for McNair and the people in your community, and you're a credit to everything that you do and touch. And I want to thank you personally for all that you do for our school district. So good job. And Randy said the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Mr. Nava.
Quincy, it's about time. My God, it's been a long time. I'm actually a member of the Hall of Fame, so it's a great thing. It's one of the greatest things in my life that happened when I was selected to the Stockton, and I'm sure it's one of yours also. I know that you were involved in Stockton. As a matter of fact, when I was at Stag, I had acquaintance with you because you were in baseball at UOP and all those kinds of good things. But congratulations to you, and I know that we will hear a nice speech on the 16th of November, and I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Mr. Freitas.
Quincy, I will be there too with the multi-time Hall of Famer, Mr. Nava, but as the board representative for McNair High School, one thing that I never had to worry about was that someone was going to be fighting for our kids in athletics because you were there. And I can't thank you enough for what you've done for our kids at McNair. Our new pool dedication, when you came to us, and your next bad ask will be your first bad ask of this board. You've always came and challenged this board to do things that need to be done. And I hope that we held it up and got our end done, because what McNair Athletic looks like and the challenges that you've had and what you've done were really instrumental. And I cannot say how grateful we are and how much I appreciate all you've done. So congratulations. This is a great honor that's very well deserved, and feel very fortunate and honored to be working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freitas. I will also be at the Hall of Fame dinner to congratulate Mr. Noble that same evening. First of all, I don't know that everyone sitting in this room knows how much you do for students and families all over the San Joaquin Valley. So not only does he give a kidney and a liver and a spleen to McNair, he also has given for a number of years to multiple students all over our county. I also want to thank you for challenging the board. When something doesn't go the way Quincy wants it to go at McNair, I get a text at night, and I do appreciate those texts. And I do think that there isn't a bigger advocate for the students of McNair in your position, and I think it's admirable, and we're lucky to have you in Lodi Unified. So thank you for all you do, and I hope you continue to do it for us for a very long time. And I look forward to seeing you at the Hall of Fame and your speech. Great. Thank you very much. Any other? Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming this evening.
Thank you.
Mark.
Ron's always in the picture.
Isn't he? He's our glamour shot.
Oh, you're good. I've seen my.
I never get my picture with anybody. Honestly, I always get his picture.
I'm gonna take a picture of these.
Yeah.
That's the bigger smile, bigger smile.
Wait.
Thank you.
Something. It'll be a meme somewhere. Get it out.
Yeah, really.
Moving on.
Harris McNair.
The week of November 7th through 11th is National School Psychology Week, and I believe that's you, Mr. Freitas,
Oh my goodness. I
and
can't
Mr.
wait to
Warren,
say
and
psychology
Cheryl
many
Roth.
times.
They're all coming.
Hi, Ron. Amy, Cheryl, Amy, Helen, nice to meet you. Paul, I do know you. All right, shall we do this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, okay. Proclamation, National School Psychology Week, November 7th through 11th, 2022. Whereas children and youth learn best when they are healthy, supported, and receive an education that enables them to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. And whereas schools can more effectively ensure that all students are able to learn when they meet the needs of the whole child and provide integrated, multi-tiered supports. And whereas positive educational and social outcomes for all children and youth are possible only in a society and schools within it that affirm and value the diversity for each child. And whereas school psychologists are trained to access student and school-based barriers to learning and individual strength, utilize data-based decision-making, implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, and evaluate outcome and improve accountability. And whereas school psychologists take steps to foster a school climate that is supportive, inclusive, safe, accepting, and respectful towards all persons. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lodi Unified Board of Education joins the nation in celebrating November 7th through the 11th, 2022 as National School Psychology Week by taking this opportunity to acknowledge the hard work of the district's school psychologists as we continue to recognize, encourage, and support those who have a positive impact on our students and the educational system in the Lodi Unified School District. We as members of the Lodi Unified School Board District of Education do hereby proclaim the week of November 7th through 11th, 2022 as National School Psychology Week. Signed, President Susan McFarland. Congratulations. I'm saying. Wow. What was I thinking? You can say if you were.
So, Mr. Freitas, President McFarland, members of the board, Dr. Washer, and Mr. Young. I'm Cheryl Rothy. I'm the lead school psychologist in Lodi Unified, and so it's my pleasure to accept this on behalf of my subgroup. The Lodi School Psychologists appreciate your support for National School Psychology Week. This year's theme is Together We Shine. It came about from how we see hope after facing the challenges to mental and physical health related to the pandemic and other stressors in life. Finding the light is critical to building resilience and hope. The Lodi Unified School Psychologists have been working hard to assist students adjust to the social, emotional, behavioral, and educational expectations of school. This year's NSPW theme highlights the importance of recovering after adversity. Some of the activities that the school psychologists engage in to support resilience and hope within our students address building social connections, encouraging gratitude, promoting personal strengths, and empowering others. So with your continued support, the school psychologists will help students achieve their best in school, at home, and in life. Thank you very much.
You can claim us or not.
Very well said.
Just real quickly, our school psychologists are amazing. They do so many things, and we could not function as a district without them, so thank you.
Thank you for all the challenges that you have in your department. I was just reading here, Psychology Week. It should be Psychology Year instead, because you have all those challenges from the pandemic that are so important at this time. I mean, you have a multitude of problems that these youngsters suffered during those years, and thank you for being the help that you do to Lodi Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hellman. Any other comments?
I would just like to say that we all knew school psychologists existed as parents in the district when our children are there, and it wasn't until COVID that it really became front and center for probably more families than ever. And so I love that you're front and center, and it's on the tip of everyone's tongue, and we all know what you do and how you do it and why you do it. So thank you from not only the school board, but from a parent of students back in the day for all the help that you gave. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I just wanted to say it's really good to highlight what you do. You are appreciated. Thank you for the work that you do. Our children absolutely need you. So thank you very much.
And while they're taking a photo, Dr. Washer, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President McFarland, members of the board. There are exciting things happening at our school sites, high quality instruction. I just want to point out a few of those highlights based on site visits that we had recently. First of all, a huge thank you to the staff at Westwood Elementary School. Principal Jamie Kite-Polinsky and her staff are working hard on their plan to address the early literacy needs of students by using data and working in a professional learning community to make instructional, systemic decisions. Westwood also had a refresh of their library, and I think there's a picture there for you, and created a wonderful community center. This is an example of what Gabby was sharing recently too, about the new furniture and making it more of a community center feel and a place for parents to feel welcome as well. So this is one example. Thank you to Westwood for leading in that area. Also want to highlight Davis Elementary. They hosted a STEM Fall Festival last Thursday evening. We have some pictures there of students and families enjoying their time together with STEM activities. I also want to send a huge thank you to the students of Davis Elementary for giving me a 2-volume book on how to enjoy my retirement. Their suggestions were not only very good, but quite entertaining. So I want to thank Davis, and I will be taking their advice to heart. Also, Live Oak Elementary School, in addition to building social and emotional relationships between the students, staff are also working on building relationships with their students. I want to acknowledge their work that they're doing to help students build connections and have that caring adult at school.
Principal Sarah Santana and her team participated in a relationship mapping activity to determine how well staff knows students on campus. All the students that staff didn't know very well were given a staff buddy. That buddy's job is to cultivate a relationship with that student by checking in with the student, spending time with them on the playground, or having lunch to get to know them better. Early reading is also a big focus at Live Oak. They're using data conferencing to look at their student data and talk about instruction and focus on student achievement. Also want to thank Needham Elementary School for their invitation today in their reading day. They enjoyed books from lots of folks, not only employees of the district, but they also had community volunteers. You may see some students, there's Mr. Warren there. You may see some students in pajamas. Actually, teachers also dressed up to honor the Pajama Reading Day. It was a lot of fun, and I want to thank the teachers for the warm welcome. And it was just a great sound to hear students enjoy reading and try reading on their own. So thank you so much to Needham Elementary School.
Thank you, Dr. Washer. Do we have any, we have no public comments tonight, I believe that is correct. Thank you, Michelle. So we will move on from public comments. Would anyone like to pull anything from consent agenda A, board?
Student reports.
Did I jump right over you guys? I have an aversion. I did, I jumped right over you. I apologize. Comments from student reps? I think that's what that's it. Keep giving, the gifts that keeps on giving. Thank you. Mr. Neely just woke up. Harry, would you like to go first? Or it's whichever one of you would rather go first. Okay, we will lead with Ms. Perez from McNair High School.
Hello, I'm Perry Perez from McNair High School. Thank you, Dr. Washer, President McFarland, and members of the board. And I'd like to share this report. So first off, with school activities, Link Crew hosted their annual haunted house with this year's theme being Eagletown Hospital. We had a really great turnout this year, and the AVID classes also had game booths for this year as well. And then moving on, our National Honor Society and California Scholarship Federation hosted a movie night on October 28th as a fundraiser. They also had boba as one of their other fundraisers. It was really nice. And then our academic decathlon team took a field trip to Madera, California for a lecture workshop. For student government, we're currently making preparations for our snowball for our winter formal dance in addition to our spirit week. And so we're really excited to see how all that turns out. And then performances, presentations, and events. On October 18th, we had Aaron Kindbrew, a speaker from Rachel's Challenge. He spoke to all grades on the important message of creating a chain of kindness. His compassion and humor conveyed the overall message to the students in the theater that day. We also are holding Cash for College workshops starting on October 27th, every Wednesday, helping our seniors with their financial aid and scholarship applications. These workshops and college application assistance is offered all the way until November 30th. And then for recognitions, the 10th and 11th graders signed up for their PSATs, which they took on Tuesday, October 25th. Our girls volleyball team faced off with Bear Creek for their senior night, and it ended off with a 3-0 win. Our cross-country team also had their senior night on October 27th, and a very big shout out to Joseph Buelas, who was first in boys cross-country overall. And then football and cheers senior night was against Bear Creek High School as well, this last Friday, October 28th, and we did win 21-12. And last but not least, for upcoming activities, our senior class of 2023 will be taking a panoramic photo on November 4th, which is this Friday. And UC Merced will be visiting our campus on November 9th to present to students as well as Grand Canyon University. And the next coffee with the counselors will be on November 16th from 8:20 to 10 in the library. And that is all for my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Board, any comments?
be the.
You did beat the Bear Creek Challenge, right? 21-12, you said? Excellent, good job.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Tokeo, let's.
That rivalry has a name, doesn't it?
It has a name, what's the name of it?
What is
The rivalry. Bear Creek McNair. Mr. Dawson,
The
what is it?
8 Mile Cup is the trophy we play for.
There you go, 8 Mile Cup.
And it's been with us for the last 5 years.
Yes.
Well, you're all winners in our book.
Right.
Oh, there you go. There's only one winner.
I'm saying.
Politician. You already got it, Mike.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Next up, Alyssa from Tokay High School. Are we ready to
Plan.
go for it?
Good evening, Dr. Washer, President McFarland, and members of the board. So over the last few weeks, we have had senior nights for multiple sports, including football, water polo, and volleyball to end their seasons. Starting up, we have soccer, wrestling, and basketball starting. We played our rival team, Lodi High, this last Friday to end our football season. We had a great student section. We didn't win, but it was still really fun, and we had a great time for the last football game. We had a pep rally this last Friday leading up to the game, and we had great feedback from teachers, students, and just the admission. It was great. So we also had another assembly this quarter. It was a BMX show, and they came in and they talked about anti-bullying to all of us, and it was a great message and really interesting to watch. Leading up to Halloween, we had a trunk or treat last Thursday that family and students were welcome to. We had a great turnout and lots of fun with siblings, parents, students, clubs. Everyone was out there, and it was a lot of fun. Coming up, we have our blood drive November 3rd that student government and FCCLA are working together for. We have a lot of signups, and we are hoping to earn back the blood cup this year. That completes my board report. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Lisa, you guys had a competitive game on Friday against Lodi.
Oh, yeah.
You came back from deficit, and you turned out to be 20-26. I was surprised because Mr. Fraser and I were checking the scores, and it's a runaway, and pretty soon it's 20-6. So we're very competitive.
It was very interesting, especially towards the end.
Yes.
Thank you both very much. Now we get to move on to consent agenda A. Would the board like to pull anything? Public.
I move we approve routine agenda 8.
President
Absolutely,
McFarland.
Mr. Nava. Yes,
May I just make a comment?
absolutely.
Several months ago, Mr. Nava was concerned that our Measure L committee had not met for a while. While we have Mr. Dawson in the room, I'd like to thank Mr. Dawson, Ms. Perez at Murata, and Ms. Kite Polinsky at Westwood. Through their relationships and interaction with their parents, we were able to use those relationships to reach out to the parent community in North Stockton. Mr. Dawson, I believe, has 2 parents. Ms. Kite Polinsky and Ms. Murata have 1 each. We can finally form a committee and hold another meeting, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. And I also need to ask student reps, would you like to pull anything from consent agenda A? No.
No.
Who's the second?
The second was Mr. Neely.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing was pulled. We have a first and a second, so I'd like to call for the vote. Student vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote. Board approves 7-0. Moving on to consent agenda B. Anyone from the board like to pull anything?
Move approve.
Thank you, Mr. We'll go with Mr. Knackstead. And Mr. Neely is the second. Anyone from the public want to pull anything from consent agenda B? Moving on, the students do not vote on this, so let's move to board vote.
Board approved 7-0. Moving on to action items. OAI 1, Mr. Khan regarding AB 1200 documents for Lodi Unified School District employee groups.
Thank you, President McFarland, members of the board, Dr. Washer, Mr. Young. Under Government Code 3547.5, public school employers must disclose in a public meeting major provisions and costs of a written agreement with its represented employees before entering into that agreement. This item satisfies that requirement for all of these groups.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Any board comments? Any public comments?
I move we approve this item.
Second.
Mr. Nova motion and Mr. Heatherly seconded. Any student comments? Student vote.
Yes.
Yes.
And call for the board vote. Board approves 7-0. OAI 2, ratification of memorandum of understanding with the classified school employees. Mr. McKillican, and there he appears.
Madam President, I think items 2 through 10 this evening are all kind of self-explanatory, but I'll be here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
I move we approve item 2.
Second.
Mr. Nava and Mr. Neely, the first and the second. Any board comments? Any public comments? Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Board vote? Board approves 7-0. OAI 3, approval of memorandum of understanding with classified school employee association to increase. Mr. McKilligan just gave us his blessing. Board comments? Thank you, Mr. Connexa. Mr. Neely has seconded. Any public comments? Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Board vote? Moving on to OAI 4. Once again, Mr. McKilligan has spoke to us on this. Approval of memorandum of understanding with California School Employees Associated for a one-time off salary schedule payment of $500. Board comments?
Move to approve.
Mr.
Second.
Neely has motioned and Mr. Knackstead has seconded. Any public comments? Any student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Board vote? Board approves 7-0. Moving on to OAI 5. Again, Mr. McKilligan has spoken on this ratification of a tentative agreement with Lodi Education Association. Any board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Thank you, Mr. Porter. Any public comments? Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote? Board approves 7-0. OAI 6, once again, Mr. McKilligan has spoke to us regarding this. Approval of memorandum of understanding with Lodi Education Association to increase the annual district contribution to health welfare benefits by $528 per employee. Board comments? Public comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Neely. Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote? Board approves 7-0. OAI 7, again, Mr. McKilligan has spoke to us regarding this. Approval of memorandum of understanding with Lodi Education Association for a one-time off-salary schedule payment of $500. Board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Thank you, Mr. Knackstead. Public comments? Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote? Board approves 7-0. OAI 8, Mr. McKilligan has also spoke to us regarding this. Approval of memorandum of understanding with the Lodi Unified Supervisor Group to to increase the annual district contribution to health and welfare benefits by $528. Board comments.
Move we approve.
Mr. Nava and Mr. Knackstead has seconded. Public comment. Student comment. Student vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote. Board approves 7-0. OAI 9, improvement to confidential salary schedule to reflect 6.56 salary improvements in alignment with the district's proposal to other employee groups. Mr. McKilligan, you also spoke to us regarding this. Any board comments?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Neely.
Second.
Thank you, was that Mr. Nava? It was Mr. Nava? It sounded like Mr. Knackstead. Public comment. Student comment. Student vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote. Board approves 7-0. OAI 10, improvement to management salary schedule to reflect the 6.56 salary improvement to align with the district's proposal to other employee groups. Mr. McKilligan has also presented this. Board comment.
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nova. Thank you, Mr. Neely. Public comment, I can't remember if I asked that. I didn't, thank you. Student comment. Student vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Board vote. I feel like we should take a break in the middle.
We're on a roll. Keep it going. Do you need some help?
Board approves 6-1 with a no from Mr. Porter. Make sure I note that. OAI 11, approval of an amendment to the chief business officer's employment contract to reflect the 6.56 COLA. Dr. Washer, do you have any comments regarding?
Only that there are some other pieces. There are pieces about total compensation and language under Article 5 as noted in the attachment.
Thank you, Dr. Washer. Any board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava, and the second by Mr. Neely. Any public comments?
Good evening, Dr. Washer, Mr. Young, members, President McFarland, members of the board. So, yeah, that was what I was going to bring up is under Article 5, Section B, number 1, so now we have crossed out that the district does not make a contribution for medical, dental, and vision insurance on behalf of management employees. So are all other management employees' contracts going to be amended to reflect this as well?
If you would like to.
Members of the board, Ms. McFarland, all managers do not have a contract. There are contracted employees, which is Mr. Kahn, myself, and Mr. Young at the moment. So with the addition of the 0.8 and the 528 that was in alignment with the other employee groups, those go to benefits only, not to salary. So that is the change.
Thank you. Thank you. Student comments.
Wait.
Oh, one more. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I think I need a correction. Mr. Kahn is giving me a look.
It's no 528, it's just
I'm sorry. Just the 0.8.
Yes.
Since Dr. Washer brought up the 0.8, it's been kind of a bone of contention of mine on behalf of CSEA. And I don't know, I mean, I didn't look at the attachment, but I did see that it said something about total compensation. And it depends on the way you want to look at the information, but management has had a cap of $427 on their salary, and it's been on their salary since '05. I'm still waiting to find out their raises that they've received since '05. So it just, I don't know, it's just not, to me, not being transparent, because we know that principals do have a cap of 427 along with confidential and have received raises on top of that. And I just don't think it's very clear. But they do have a cap of $427 that's on their paycheck. I think if you were to back that out, plus all their raises, and then put that on the benefit matrix, that would be pretty transparent. Confidential did also receive a $200 increase to that cap in 2013, and now it's like we want to give them a second cap, and it just doesn't seem very fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Student comments. Student vote.
Yes.
Yes. Board vote. The board votes 6-1 with 1 no, Mr. Porter. OAI 12, one-time off salary schedule payment of $500 for the CBO. This action implements the same one-time off salary schedule payment for the chief business officer that has been offered to other employee groups. Mr. McKilligan, are we?
Same as others. If you have any questions, we can.
Okay, board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava.
Second.
And Mr. Nexted. Board comments. Public comments. Student comments. Student vote.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Board vote, sorry. Six, one with a 1 no vote from Mr. Porter. Approval amendment to superintendent's, OAI 13, approval of amendment to superintendent's employment contract to reflect the 6.56 salary improvement in alignment with the district's proposal to the other employee groups. Board comments?
Comment.
Yes.
Every year this comes up, I have a difficulty with the superintendent contract that has a Me Too clause, and I'll state it again, like I've stated it every time, is that it is no reflection on the individual in the position. It is the position itself I don't believe should have a Me Too clause, therefore I vote no every time. Thank you.
I have a quick question. I noticed on this board here, it says 6.56, and then down below it says 6.65. Is that a reason for the difference, or is that just a typo?
What do you see?
On the agenda, it has.
It is 6.56. If there's anything different, then that is a mistake.
It's just a typo.
There is also no .8 or the 500 or those other elements.
Was the 0.8 you rounded up?
No, I'm not taking the .8.
Well, below it says 6.65.
That's
That's the type.
6.56. If there's anything else, that is a mistake. The item itself
Oh, I
says
see. You said
6.56. So I apologize for that.
No worries.
If
But she was, Dr. Washer was clarifying she's not taking the 0.8
No, I
or
understand.
the, okay.
0.8 doesn't add up to problem.
I apologize for that, Ms. Porter.
No, absolutely. Board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Conexon. Any public comment? Student comment? Oh, yeah. Thank you for putting your hand up. That caught my.
Desiree Wise, CSEA. When I say this, I don't mean to be rude in any manner. It's not that I don't feel that you're worthy of a raise or anything like that. I mean, the more we make, the more we spend. I think that's pretty much the American way. But your retro will be more than some of our employees make in a year. So to put that into perspective for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Student comments? No? Student vote?
No.
No. No. No. 1 yes, 1 no. 1 yes, 1 no. Board vote?
It's 2 no's.
2 no's.
Oh, it was a no.
Two
I'm
no's.
sorry, I didn't hear you. I apologize. 2 no's. Board vote? Board approves 5-1 and 1 abstain.
5-2.
5-2. Mr. Porter abstained and Mr. Heberly was a no. Got it. Okay. OAI 14, approval, I'm looking to see how many pages. OAI 14, approval of amendment to Associate Superintendent's employment contract to reflect the 6.56 salary improvement in alignment with the district's proposal to other employee groups. Any board comments?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Thank you, Mr. Knackstead. Any public comments?
Good evening again. I think Desiree and I are tag teaming this. I do have an issue with the fact, and again, no disrespect, not saying that you're not working hard and don't earn it, but Mr. Young, in his new position, got a 35% raise just a few months ago. And to get another 6.56 in this short period of time it's really hard when I look at the fact that a lot of our new teachers are making less than what Mr. Young got in a raise this year. So I object to him getting another raise so quickly when we have a problem in attracting and retaining new teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board comment? Public comment? We went through. Student comment? No. Student vote?
No.
No. Student was 2 no votes. Board vote? So 6-1 yes, 1 no vote, Mr. Porter. OAI 15, one-time off-salary schedule payment of $500 to the Associate Superintendent. This action implemented the same one-time off-salary schedule employment to the Associate Superintendent that had been offered to other employee groups. Board comment?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Nava.
Second.
Second, Mr. Knackstead. Public comment? Student comment? Student vote?
No.
You're okay, let me finish taking the vote.
I think out of all the people that are contracted, they're in a different category than the people that are under union leadership. So this is why I've consistently, except for one incident, voted no. They have a contract, they can negotiate it, whereas other people, of course, are reliant on their union. So I just want to be perfectly clear why I'm voting no, and I had one abstention for another reason. But they have a contract, they get to negotiate that. Nobody else gets to do that one-on-one. So those are the reasons for my no vote.
Thank you, Mr. Porter.
No.
There are no, and
No.
student votes are 2-0 no. Board vote? Board votes 6-1 yes, 1 no. Mr. Porter. OAI 16, proposed technology service reorganization. Mr. Khan.
Thank you, President McFarland, members of the board, Dr. Washer, and Mr. Young. Board may recall that this item relates to a report that Director 3 of Technology Services, Edith Holbert, provided the board last board meeting. It upgrades 2 positions to senior systems engineers. It will also close 2 existing positions depending on who the successful candidates are in the internal interview process. Director Holbert is here to answer any questions should the board have.
Thank you. Mr. Freitas.
President McFarland,
Yes.
I said I was supporting this last time, I still am, and I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Freitas, and thank you, Mr. Nava. Any board comments?
One quick
Yes.
one. You guys have been doing a heck of a job, I tell you. I'm so happy with how our technology department run. You guys have got 355 square miles, 35,000 or more users, and as few problems as we have. If you go back tomorrow and tell your people how much we appreciate that, that would help us out a lot.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Neely. Any public comments? Student comments? Student vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, 2-0, yes. Board comments? There we go. Board approves 7-0. Mr. McKilligan, it's that time of night.
Madam President, routine personnel matters are presented for your consideration.
I move we approve personnel matters.
Thank you, Mr. Nava, and thank you, Mr. Heberly. Any board comments? Any public comments? And no student comments on this, and no student vote, so board vote. Board approves 7-0. Mr. Warren, proposed revision to Board Policy Rule 5141.21, administering medication and monitoring health conditions.
Yes, President McFarland, members of the board, Dr. Washer, Neil, no Neil. This would add Narcan to our current board policy and allow us to be able to use that in emergency situations. Are there any questions?
Any questions, board? No, but we have a comment.
Oh.
And another thing. A couple of meetings ago, I brought up the problem that we're having with fentanyl and other opiates, and mentioned about the Narcan nasal spray and the training and all the funding that does come with this. The point that I wanted to make is I do appreciate how quickly district staff got on this. We do have rainbow fentanyl in our county. It is not a long ways away, it is here. And having the ability to save children's lives in case of an accidental poisoning, to me means everything. And like I said, all we have to do now is the next step is get people trained, and from what I understand, it's a video trained. It's extremely simple to use, and it's actually very safe. So the main thing is thank you from me to you for moving so quickly in helping to protect our children from fentanyl with our Narcan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heberly. Any public comments?
So I was reading both the board policy and the rule, and some of this is pretty standard. All the new opioid antagonist language, of course, is new. And so I guess my questions were, it looks like from this board rule that it will be school nurses that would be primarily in charge of administering this drug, but we all know that not every site has a school nurse that is there full time. So what is the plan to have who would be the other designated personnel who would be available to administer this? And then also too, I am not certain that all school personnel know what the signs are of an opioid overdose. And so, again, what's the time frame? And I guess it's going to be a video, which I will tell you, if it's not going to be done
if you're asking teachers to take extra time again to do videos outside of their contracted hours, or to take prep time or other time away from their classrooms to do this, I'm going to have an objection to that. I know it's important, but the hours that we are expected to spend on Keenan videos, and supposedly to do it for the good of our children, but not get compensated for it is crazy. And if you teach certain subjects like science, for example, I have another hour more. But anyway, getting back to this, I want to know who is going to be the secondary designated. How are we going to know what the signs are of an opioid overdose? And again, when is this training going to happen? Thank you for the question. Mr. Warren, I'm sure you're going to roll this out at some point, so if you have anything you can give. I think there's some confusion that it will be in every classroom and every teacher will be mandated to do this versus a nurse. I know you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all the trainings. The nurses will do the trainings. It's being rolled out in a similar way that EpiPens are as far as emergencies go. It's on a voluntary basis. Nurses will provide the training. There'll be volunteers on site. But there would be a designated person or persons that are trained.
So we're not asking every teacher to, thank you. Just want to make sure. Thank you. Any student comments? Yes.
Adding on to what Ms. Wilkins said, I am concerned of how it is going to be administered. For McNair, I have no concerns. I'm actually very grateful that you proposed this. I am in our CTE class. I am getting CPR certified and getting registered to carry naloxone, but I know that other high schools like Tokay and everywhere else don't have the same programs. They don't have CTE programs that carry out these CPR classes. So I am basically, my concern is how it's going to be administered to students if the most qualified people to pretty much carry this is students themselves.
Got it. Mr. Warren, I think, Dr. Warren, can you?
We will not have students involved in this.
No.
There will be staff.
I did. Okay, so I guess what I would like to say, maybe, Mr. Warren, is there will be more to come on this, and you will have maybe more information for us at a later date?
Yeah, there'll be more information. Also, I mean, my understanding is it's a nasal spray. It's very safe. Even if it's administered to someone who has an overdose, there are no harmful effects. So.
Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that. Student comments, so you have the information you need to move forward?
It will, Madam President, it will come back to you as an action item, so if anybody does have other questions that you want us to address at that time, if you could please let Mr. Warren know, and we'll be sure to address those questions at that time.
Great, thank you very much.
I think there was another question.
There's another question. No, I was just gonna say, I wasn't quick enough.
Desiree Wise here again. As a parent, I just want to say thank you for putting forth this new policy. As a parent, honestly, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll regret saying this, but I wouldn't mind if you gave it to my kid. I mean, honestly, a lot of times when stuff like this happens, it's the kids that are in the group. By the time they go get help from an adult, I mean, speaking from a parent perspective, if it's nasal spray, I mean, my child could save someone else's life if it's in his backpack. So, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to communications from employee groups.
I'll go first. You've been at lots of times.
Sorry, Lisa.
Good evening, President McFarland, school board members, Superintendent Washer, and Young. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you again for allowing us to present CSEA Boss of the Year to Gabby Vasquez, an honor well deserved. Now I'm going to flip it on to another note. CSEA is hurting right now. Financially, we are hurting. With the way inflation is rising, we cannot live on the wages that you pay us. Flat out, most of us work 2 jobs. Not only are we working 2 jobs, but we are filling in the slack for all the open positions that classified is not getting filled by the district. I have 2 stories. Yesterday, in transportation, 3 routes did not go out because there was no bus drivers. How did those kids get to school? Did they get to school? Their parents are going to work. How did they get to school? There was no bus drivers. We just lost a bus driver not too long ago, and when I talked to the gentleman, I asked him, after several years of being a dedicated employee for Lodi Unified as a bus driver, he is now at a neighboring district. I said, why would you do that? He said, the wage I'm starting out with right now at my new district is the wage I'm leaving at Lodi Unified, with the $10,000 incentive sign-on. $5,000 the first year and $5,000 the second. I had a paraeducator come up to me today asking how she should put her resignation letter in because she is being offered a job at another neighboring school district. I said, you have 16 years seniority here. She goes, I need to work at a district that'll pay me a working livable wage. Okay, let's say that again, a working livable wage. We can't make it. You have a large group that is going to be retiring soon from classified, myself included. You can't fill the spots you have now. How are you going to fill the many retirement spots you're going to have in the near future? CSEA looks forward to working with the board, with Lodi Unified School District, superintendents, in resolving this problem, but it needs to be resolved. We need a living, workable wage. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you,
Now,
Linda.
Lisa, you can talk. Dr. Washer, Mr. Young, members of the board. So, yeah, so sorry, we got, Desiree and I got to talking and we did not call each other today. Okay, so if you look at what we're wearing, we did not call each other. I just want you to know that. Anyway, so living workable wage. That's another thing that I get from teachers too, especially younger teachers. And younger teachers, it's hard for them to move over on the salary schedule because they're just getting their sea legs, if you will, and learning how to teach and getting the rhythm. They have to go through TIP. So they have to go through the teacher induction program. That takes time where they don't have time to go get additional units. There are some teachers who are graduating from programs that are integrated where you get your bachelor's and your credential at the same time. Here's the issue with that, is they don't get counted for those units that they get toward their credential because they are taken as an undergrad, if you will. They haven't received their BA, so when they get on our pay scale, they're not given those additional units. And I also know that being part of CTA State Council, one of the things that has been looked at for getting teachers into, getting new teachers in the pipeline is doing more of these integrated programs. So I think this is something that we need to address as a district, to look at getting these people, if they got the units, you know, even if they took them as an undergrad in an integrated program, we should be able to pay them for those units. And I've had several teachers reach out to me, and this is an issue. I know it's not just an issue with our district. It happens, it goes a lot of districts in the state. Interns. The new contract will definitely help our interns, but still, yes, they're going to be paying that, but you have to remember that they are also paying for their tuition to get their degree, or get their credential, excuse me. So we've got to look at ways to keep those interns, because we want them in the district, we do. But again, having a livable, workable wage where we've got gas prices, rent, mortgage rates at 7%. even though I will tell you, my first condo I bought in the 80s, so I'm that old, was, I think I felt I was lucky to have a 12% mortgage, but yeah, so that's how old I am, okay? But we've got to look at that. We're being squeezed at all sides. I brought up the idea of another video asking teachers on their own time to watch on opioid overdoses. It's important. I absolutely get it. But if you're going to ask us to do these things, you need to compensate us. Okay. You can't just expect us to spend our time after hours over the weekend to watch these things, because it's some sort of a professional duty. I came from the corporate world where if any of this training was done on company time, it was not done additionally. Okay. Now, if I had to work extra hours to get my responsibilities done, that was a little bit different. But anything that helps the company, in this case being the district, watching these videos helps you guys because it lowers the liability. And your insurance with Keenan and all that, and all of those things, it helps your liability, lowers your liability. So we should be compensated for it because the district is getting a break for those things. We also need to look at innovative ways to attract and retain. Belinda talked about retirements. I'm already hearing from members. Last year we had a lot of retirements. I'm hearing a lot more. I'm also hearing teachers looking at other districts. Can they get those? Can they get those signing bonuses? Can they transfer over their years? I don't want to see the brain drain and the experience drain from this district. We need a balance of new teachers, and yet we need a balance of experienced teachers to help help those new teachers get their sea legs, get some experience, give them some advice. We need both. We need a broad spectrum. And we need a diverse spectrum too. I would love to see us look at our diversity policy and making sure that kids have teachers that look like them, that speak their language. That's really important. And I don't think we've really put any effort in this district in doing that. So I know that Mr. McKilligan is looking at retirement. Congratulations. But as we look at someone to replace him, we talk about these issues. We talk about diversity. We talk about innovative ways to bring in new teachers. We talk about ways to keep experienced teachers. And we talk about ways to make Lodi livable as far as economics as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Washer, could you clarify again regarding the Mr. Warren's?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and I apologize if I was not clear that we are not asking teachers to be trained or watch the video on the opioid overdose.
The rest did not happen.
No.
Thank you very much. Moving on to board member comments. Mr. Nava.
On the positive side, October 10th through 17th, Stockton Record Athlete of the Week, Amelia Garibaldi from Lodi High School. She's a senior at Lodi High. The senior golfer is the captain of the Flames girls team and has been a driving force to help the team finish undefeated in league and overall. Quite a feat, especially in golf. My gosh. According to Coach Tara Stahl, Lodi's girls golf head coach for the past 23 years, Amelia has become a great role model for a lot of the golfers beyond high school golf. She plans to attend Fresno State University on a full ride scholarship. What an honor on that. Can you imagine how much money that is? That completes my report on Amelia. Now, Lodi Unified School District has one football team in Division I playoffs, and that is Lodi High School. The team will compete, actually, I'm sorry, Lodi High School is Division II. They will compete football playoffs, and they play Vacaville, and Lodi's record was 7-3 overall. Congratulations to those people in Lodi High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naldo. I'm gonna switch and go this way. I'm going way down to the end.
Mr. Frank?
I'll work back in.
We were talking at Hall of Famers, and I had the pleasure Friday night of watching Mr. Nava be inducted into the Stag Hall of Fame yet again for his 1999 team. And why was his 1999 team recognized, Coach Nava? Well, because that team was undefeated. Quite a rare event, quite a unicorn in sports today there, and receiving yet, how many Hall of Fames is this now, Coach Nava? Too many to count, and the key to the city, but this is, once again, very well deserved, so congratulations. And Mr. Neely, it's great to have you back with us.
Mr. Everly.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight something that happened recently in our district, and that was the ribbon cutting at Needham School.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Yes.
it was a wonderful event. And one of the people that presented very well, and I wanted to make sure to highlight this, was the principal, Sonia Renhold. She absolutely did an outstanding job. And what I really liked about her presentation is that she had that excitement and the spirit of the school, kind of the whole thing just felt better, like she said. She was very thankful, and she did include all the people and the parts and pieces that made the school possible. You know, the school committee that basically got together, as all the other school committees did, and this is what we'd like to see, and this is where we'd like to see it. I mean, everything down to colors. So those school committees were very important. She did thank the bond committee, and I do want to thank the bond voters because it couldn't happen without them. And it's a good indication of where the bond dollars are going. And every time you see a project coming to fruition, you just think of how it affects the kids and the staff. One of the teachers took us into her room, and she was so excited. She even pointed out that she got a sink in hers. So, and they all should have a sink, but that's beside the point. The architects, the engineers, and of course the construction crews that took the plan and actually made it work. Sonia did a great job including all those people. And the band did very well. They played a couple of tunes for us, and it was a lot of fun. Kind of reminded me of my elementary school band days. And, yeah, believe it or not, I'm not an artist, but I can play a trumpet. I did have a question though. The baked goods that were there, which school was it again?
McNair High School.
McNair. Oh my
The
gosh.
pumpkin bar.
Oh my gosh. A few of my grandkids were there, and yeah, we didn't eat dinner after that. But I'll tell you what, they were delicious, and McNair Culinary did a great job. The band, Sonia, it was just a wonderful event. And I'm one of those people that I'm sure Mr. Khan hears it enough for me, this is my last comment, that I'm a person who believes in function over form. But this one had it both. It was beautiful, but a beautiful campus, and it had great function also. One more item. Our next meeting is November 15th, and in between now and November 15th is Veterans Day, And I would just like people to kind of thank and think of the servicemen and women who dedicate parts of their lives for serving our country and sacrificing that they do of their time, and hopefully, unfortunately, some sacrifice more. So Veterans Day, give them a few thoughts and thank them. Thank you very much.
How about daylight saving time?
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Porter.
Well, I thank the comments on Veterans Day. My dad was D-Day +4, and he was a big influence in my life, so I appreciate that, Mr. Heverly. I always think about him on that day. With me, it's a little different. I've got another gig besides this. I took up the hobby of refereeing water polo, because a friend of mine needed refs for the high schools in the area, and then it blossomed out to the sections, and then suddenly I'm road driving all over Northern California. The good news is that I got to see a lot of different schools, and teachers, and students playing water polo, and just this interaction, parents cheering, and I've been everywhere, doing some JC games now. The thing that I took away from is last year a little bit of that COVID still tension, we're testing and all that. But this year we seem a little more freedom. Seems like people are a little more relaxed, and at these athletic events. And I get to see teachers and administrators and the kids, and I get to hear them talk about the classes, and it just seems a little more open. It's been a more positive experience for me this year. Get to see all these wonderful schools in different areas. I've been all the way up to Nevada Union, down to Enoch, in Modesto, all the way over to Nevada, over to Rodriguez. I mean, I've been everywhere. So it's been a blast, and the good thing is that people seem to be enjoying sports a little bit more now that COVID's kind of taken a little back step, and people can be opened up a little bit. And I've got a lot out of that, so it's been fun. And I see it here too at Tokay and Lodi. I've done some of the Lodi games. A little booing there because the games didn't go their way, and little people tell me Porter stinks, but that's okay. I can live with that, all right?
Yeah, you're used to that, Gordon.
Yeah, I'm used to it. But anyway, I just wanted
We
to
don't
share that
think
with
you
you.
stink. I didn't think you heard me.
I did. But anyway, it's
That's
great to see the parents out, the kids, and everybody rooting in and having a good time. Getting away from that COVID stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Mr. Neely.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank everybody for all their concern and condolences. I greatly appreciate that. I know sometimes it's hard to know what to say. I know if I was in the opposite place, I would have a really tough time with something to say. So thank all of you for that. When I got up today, I learned that it was November 1st. It starts Native American Heritage Month. And that's kind of special. My family, we come from Cherokee. We're citizens of the Cherokee Nation, dating well back before the Trail of Tears. As a matter of fact, my son, who passed away, and his daughter and I all did the Trail of Tears a couple of years ago. We took that whole thing, and it was unbelievable. I'm so glad we took that opportunity to do that. But while I was gone, one of my tasks was to clear out Saul's office, and that was kind of tough, you know. But I want to read you the sign that he had on his door. It said, "The crisis does not prevent us from addressing inequity. Inequity is the crisis." And that's the way that young man lived, and that's what he taught. I went to a memorial at his, and I'm talking about this because this is about education. This is about what we do. I went to a memorial at his present university, and it's on the Yakima Indian Nation. It's a private university on the Yakima Nation. And there was this woman there, and she was dressed entirely in Native American garb. And she got up to speak about Saul. And she said that her husband was taking a class from him during the COVID crisis. You know, so it was a I can't just thank you, I can't even think right now, Zoom class. And she heard this crazy guy on the other end. And sure enough, that was Saul. And that's the way he teaches. He gets all, excited and teaches that way.
Where does he get that from?
Yeah, where does he get that from? So she told her husband, she said, I want to talk to him when class is over. And she had gone to school for 2 years, 2 years of college, but then had to quit because of the family crisis and things that happened. So after that, she got on, Saul and her got on Zoom together, and they started talking. And she said, well, I have a problem with childcare. And Saul said, bring him to class. And then I found out that she wasn't the only person. He regularly had mothers who couldn't get childcare. He had them bring the kids to class. And so, but that's what he did. Not having childcare is an inequity, not being able to afford it. And so he tried to address that. And sure enough, she was back in school, and that's the way it goes. He went into prisons. When he was at Juneau, at the University of Alaska Southeast, he went into Lemon Creek Prison, and he taught there. He taught the prisoners there. And he did not get paid for that. He went in there and he did that on his own. And he didn't teach math, and he didn't teach science, and he didn't teach English. He taught philosophy. And people thought, why are we having prisoners learn philosophy? Because philosophy is the love of knowledge. And he taught those kids that. And then they got out of there and they went to the University of Southeast Alaska. And I've met a couple of them. I've been on Facebook friends with them. I've talked to them there. They said it's all completely changed their life. So that's what we can do. And that's what we need to do. So remember, and I love this, the crisis does not prevent us from addressing inequity. Inequity is the crisis. We've got here, not just here. It's all over, don't get me wrong. It's everywhere. But we have an opportunity to address it, and I wish that we would. So again, thank you all for all your condolences, well wishes, and it has been tough, but that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neely and Mr. Conexton.
Yeah, I have a quick one. I believe it was Thursday. Last Thursday, the district hosted an award ceremony for staff that served 25, 30, 35 years or more. It was very nicely done. It was done right here. But it was a real good indication of the quality people that we have in our district working for Lodi students. So I just want to thank all the people who organized that. It was well done.
Thank you, Mr. Conexton. Any additional comments? With that, I will adjourn our meeting at 8:25.
You know what I did see, though? I was in Michigan. I went there